Hello. I thought I would do a little tag called the Midnight Corridor. And I'm creating this tag to represent the end of 2025, to represent leaving the space I'm in and going down a hallway very late in the night called the Midnight Corridor. The corridor is full of strange doors, spirits, ghosts, folktales, liminal spaces, and I will not be sad to walk through a portal into a new year, leaving this year behind the veil. So let's get started. All right, first prompt is Full Moon at the Beach, a deck that safely guides you through the dark season. And for me, this is just one of my favorite decks, and it guides me every year. And I often have to put it away and use something else because I love it so much. Actually, I'm going to show you a pairing that's by the same creator, Brandy Eve Allen. And so I often pair these together because I enjoy them together. I've been pairing this with other things, but I do love these together because they're both photographic decks by the same creator. And the style of photography, even though it's different subjects, is similar. This one I got in, I think, 2017. And this one I got, maybe, was it this year or last year? I can't remember. It was one of the two. So this deck for me is just always such a comfort. And I know it so well. The tarot. Oh, this is not an oracle, though. I was going to pair tarot with oracle. Anyway, this one has it paired with tarot. But I love these together. And this deck has just been such a comfort in my life. It's been there for me through so many hard times. And now I'm so bonded with it and it has so much meaning to me that it just is always going to be a part of my tarot practice. It's one of my favorite decks. It's in my top 10. And I just absolutely love it. And I do really enjoy the Fireflower Tarot. So this is just a guiding light for me. And everybody's going to have that deck that is that for them, and it's going to be different for everybody. But this is kind of the one for me. It's not the one I learned to read on, but it just has such a place in my heart as just a guidance deck and a trusted friend. And so I just adore it. So this is the Invisible Light Tarot and the Fireflower Tarot, both by Brandy Eve Allen. Okay, next prompt is The Door That Doesn't Belong, a deck that feels strange and canny, otherworldly, the one you reach for when the veil feels thin. Okay, for that I picked the Hush Tarot. And some of my decks are going to be out of print because I don't buy new decks all the time anymore. I'm trying not to even buy anything this year. And so I'm using my old decks, and I'm not necessarily just showing new decks all the time. I love the Hush Tarot. It is kind of the perfect deck that feels strange, otherworldly. I just think it's beautiful. And I've been pairing it with the Luna Botanica, which is an oracle that I love. It's really nice. And I've really enjoyed the two of these together. So this has been fun and great to use. They are really nice together, and this has a great guidebook. But this deck is the Hush Tarot is so otherworldly. This one is still in print. I think it is the most popular deck for fall on TarotTube. Or for sure one of the most popular. And you have to spend time with it to get to know it, I feel like. But once you do, then it's just great. And I know a lot of people like redid it. I never did. I just used it the way it was and got used to it, and then totally made sense to me. But definitely some people changed some of the cards, and I think a lot of people have done that. But anyway, I think this one's really fun, really cool, and it is definitely a liminal deck that you can use for those liminal things going on in your life. Kind of a perfect winter deck, fall deck. It's just beautiful, and I really love it. If you go through some of his Instagram, I think some of the sites are gone, but you can sometimes dig into his art shows and it'll tell the meaning of these cards deeper than what's in the guidebook. It's kind of cool to do that. I did that years ago, and it was fun practice. Okay, the next prompt is the Archivist Whisper, a deck that reads like an old forgotten manuscript or lost academic text. So it kind of has that dark academia feel, old vellum pages, candlelight, scholarship, those kind of things. And for that, I picked Spirit Keeper's Tarot. And I've been playing with different versions of this lately because I watched Tammy Pie's videos, and they were really fun. And it just made me miss this deck, and so I got it out again. This deck takes some work for me. I spent 9 months like getting up every morning working with it, and I don't feel like I'm anywhere near where I need to be to read it without the guidebook at this point, or without the Book of Maps. Book of Maps has a lot in it, and I've been pairing it with the Death Doula, and I've been liking them together because this deck has this kind of deep esoteric meaning, and it goes well with the Death Doula. And so these have been fun together. And together they have that kind of energy. This is the newest version. I got the Order of the Philosophers, but there's different orders you can be in with this deck. This is the newest version, and I think it's now out of print. That doesn't mean it'll never come back in. This was the second printing of it, but for now it's out of print. I still see it on Facebook Marketplace. It's not particularly cheap when I see it, but it is a lovely deck and worth it. It's one of those decks that you could just spend a year just using this deck if you wanted. It's got a lot to it, and if you haven't seen Tammy Pie's videos, they're very cool. So, and it teaches you a lot. So if you have the deck, it definitely is. They are some kind of fun ones to watch. Anyway, this has just been really wonderful. It's such a great deck, and I can imagine that I'm going to use this deck for years. But this is my Archivist Whisper deck. All right, next prompt is the Heart Witch's Gift, a deck that embodies magic, comfort, brewing, stitching, spinning, cooking, all that. Warmth by a fire, your cozy deck. And for me, this is the Heartwood. It's my favorite Three Trees deck, and I just love it. And this one I've been pairing with the Thistledown. I'll never get tired of this deck. It's just so sweet. And it's such a comfort deck, and this version just feels like such a witchy deck, and I just love using it. It's really fun. And I know I'm pairing decks by the same creator together, but you know what? Right now, that just feels good, and I'm okay with it. Normally, I don't do that, but right now, I love the Heartwood with the Thistledown. I think it's so sweet, and they are so cute together. So I've been having fun with these, and it's just kind of nice to have a super comforty deck right now. You know, the Green Witch Tarot would probably fit into this category too, but I'm having more fun with this right at the moment. as my comfort deck. And the mice in this are so cute. Now, I don't want them in my house or anything, but they are so adorable in this old house. They're just so sweet. So I'm just really loving this deck this year. That's the thistledown and the heartwood. Both by 3 trees. All right, next prompt is the Snow Queen's Mirror, a deck that reflects truth sharply back and coldly, offering wisdom without being soft around the edges. And for me, that is the Barbara Walker Tarot. And this deck I've had since the 80s, no, maybe 90s, probably 90s, probably beginning of 90s. And I love it, but it is harsh, and it always is. So I picked the Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle to pair with it because I think the vibes are kind of similar. So I kind of like these, and they're just kind of fun together. This deck is brutally honest, but it does do a good job, I feel like, of guiding me. It just always does it in a kind of a harsh way. So you don't want to go to this deck when you are feeling tender or that, oh, maybe I need some comfort. You want to go to this deck when you want the just flat out cold, hard truth. And it's good at doing that. And it's just always going to be a deck in my practice. And I do really love it. This is available in a 10 now. And it's really cute in the 10. So I've enjoyed using these a little bit together. You could pair this with the Samhain one. Sometimes I pair it with my Indie Samhain. I wonder what it would look like. Let's try it with the Mass Market Samhain. I love Giada Rose's artwork. I just think it's so pretty. And always enjoy using it. Let's just take this down. Let me put a couple more. So this would be good with it too. The other one that would probably be good with it is the Imbolc one, because they all have kind of that. This deck has a little bit of that dark theme. It's got a lot of red and black, and even though the scenes are kind of light, it's got a darkness to it. And those 3 of the Seasons of the Witch always have a darkness to them, a little bit. Greet the darkness. And so they feel more liminal than the rest of them. And maybe it's the art, because I think for me, the art in this deck is a little different than the others, and it's more in line with what I enjoy. But I know a lot of people enjoy the other ones, but I like Giada Rose's artwork. So those are fun together. All right, next prompt is Fox at the Crossroads. A deck that feels clever, trickstery, mischievous, but wise. And for that, I picked the Baba Studios Bohemian Gothic. And I am going to try showing you the newest version of this today, because it's not like the sun is kind of low in the sky, because of course it's winter. And so I think it won't be as glary. So we'll just try it like this. And I've been pairing this with the Blue Bones. It's a little high. Let's see here. And I've been really loving these together. And they both have, this is very trickstery and funny. and just a fun deck to use. And this has just been everything. I just absolutely love this Oracle deck, but I am really enjoying the Baba Studios Bohemian Gothic this year. I always love it, but it's been really great this year. And I'm loving it with the blue bones, and I know that seems like an odd combination, but I love it together, and they're just fun to me together. And so I've been pairing this with everything, but I've been using the Bohemian Gothic so much this month, and I used it a lot in October. And so it's just been a really fun deck. And I know I've shown this a lot, and I've shown the blue bones a lot. I'm going to do a video on the blue bones and how I'm using it and stuff, but I'll do that maybe the beginning of the year. Anyway, these are wonderful decks, both amazing on their own and really lovely together. All right, next prompt is the Cloak of Deep Winter, a dark, shadowy, or introspective deck. One that you use when you just really want to dive in at the end of the year or during the dark season. And for that, I picked Tarot of the Crone by Ellen Lorenzi Prince. So it's got my little locket in there. This deck is really, really good for that deep winter feeling. And it's just beautiful. I love this deck. Somebody said the other day that it was being reprinted, but it's not. I don't know why they said that. That just seemed mean to me. But this one's definitely out of print. I don't think it will come back. But there is a new deck by her that is coming out by Ellen Lorenzi Prince, and I think it's available for pre-order now. I have not pre-ordered it yet. And I'm pairing this with The Long Way Home, A Visual Diary. This is by Sasha Lopez. This is such a deep deck. I love this deck. It's really amazing. And it probably seems weird with Tarot of the Crone, but honestly, they read so well together. So I've been just kind of digging into these, and I really love them together. Seven of Swords brings tears to my eyes, Crossroads. Six of Wands and the Chariot, I am my own home. Two of Swords and Shadow of Wands, let death be the soil. You can kind of tell they're pretty great together. Five of Cups and Three of Wands with transmutation is a slow descent. This is a brilliant deck. This is amazing. Both these are so good, and they're really that dark mother vibe together. This is an intense deck. It took me a while. I used it at first, and it was a lot, and then I now I'm coming back to it. And I've been pairing it with Tarot of the Crone. And wow, it's an intense deck. I love it. I love it even more than her other deck. I just think it's so good. And I like them all. I like them both. But this one doesn't have a guidebook, but I honestly don't think you need the guidebook on it. So Nine of Swords, Seven of Wands, and the sum of all its parts. And I still use the guidebook with this deck because I have two guidebooks for it, and one of them kind of has poems, and then one of them has meanings. And the meanings are not standard. It kind of just goes its own way. And I still use the guidebook, and I still enjoy the guidebook with this one, even though I know the deck pretty well. But this is the smaller version. There's also a larger version, which actually might look nice with that. I'll have to try that at some point in time. But so this is just a very cool Deep Winter, Cloak of Deep Winter deck. Both of them are. Both of these. And together they're actually really fun. All right, next prompt is Story Told at Year's End, a deck tied to folklore, fairy tales, just kind of winter legends, something that feels like a tale that you tell while you're sitting around the fireplace. And for that, I picked the John Bower Tarot. I love this deck. I just think this is such a beautiful fairy tale deck. It's just so sweet. And I know this has been around a ton. It's still in print. right now, which is wonderful. And I pair this with the Messenger Oracle. I like these together. I've never had Raven Phalan's Tarot because I just didn't think it was for me, but I do love this Oracle. And I've always enjoyed it. I pair it with a ton of things and use it often. So I like these together. And, you know, part of it originally was they were the green borders, made them kind of fun together. But I like these together because they're both kind of that fairy tale, like folklore, kind of just magical world. And I like them together. I have some books that have the story, some of the stories that are in this deck. And it's kind of fun to know the stories and then play with the tarot deck. But you certainly don't have to do that. This deck is just wonderful on its own. But it's also wonderful with this oracle, and it's also wonderful with the stories. It's a very versatile deck. I see a lot of people trim this, but I don't know. I've never trimmed this one. I kind of just like the green on it. I think it's kind of cool. So this is my folklore fairy tale year-end deck. All right, next prompt is the candle you thought went out. And this is a deck that surprised you by returning into your practice. One you rediscovered after you put it aside and thought you were kind of done with it. And for me, that's the Gil Tarot. This deck was a big part of my practice long ago. And it went out of print. I don't know when it went out of print, maybe 10 years ago. And then it came back into print a couple of years ago, and it got really popular, but I was kind of done with it. I wasn't using it a lot at that point. And then for some reason this year, it just became more relevant, and I've been using it a lot more. I haven't really talked about it a lot. So I'm pairing it with the sacred symbols. Well, I'm going to pair it with the mass market version. This is the indie version. It looks great with the indie version, but today I'm going to show you it with the mass market version. The mass market and indie versions are really different. It's interesting. I'll show it with the indie version too, but anyway, I've been enjoying these together. I think they go well together. The art style on this is very simple, and it's not overly complex on this deck, but the art on the Gil Tarot is incredibly beautiful. She did another deck, and I'm trying to remember. I have it, and off the top of my head, I forgot what it's the Fairy Wicca Tarot. No, I'll have to go look at some point and tell you. But she did the art on another deck. Anyway, her art is gorgeous. And I think it goes really nice with both versions of the sacred symbols, although they are very different. But I've been enjoying the Gil Tarot quite a bit this year, and I'm not using it a ton, but it definitely came back up and is more relevant at this point again for me. And I mean, I always did enjoy it. I think it's a beautiful deck, but for whatever reason, came back into my practice this year, and kind of been using it all year long. I might use it more in December because it does seem like a good end of the year deck. All right, I'm going to show this with the indie version now, just so you can see the difference. I think they're both really pretty with it. And this oracle does have a guidebook. I mean, I never actually thought about getting rid of the Gil Tarot. is when something's been a part of my practice forever. I don't really like to get rid of it, but sometimes it goes into like a purgatory type situation. So this is the indie version of the deck, and it has a guidebook too, which is pretty similar, but the cards are really different. It's always just interesting to me how much they changed this one. Anyway, I like both versions with the Gill Tarot. I think they both are nice and both are fun with it. So I think you could use either one if you had, whichever one you have, or maybe you have both. Anyway, they're nice together. Just thought I'd show both since they're just so different. And you think that it's going to be the same. I don't know, maybe most people haven't seen the indie version of this. So if you haven't, you wouldn't know. But in reality, they are way different. So both are fun with the Gill Tarot. I really like the Gill Tarot. It's a fun one. And it's more of a Thoth-based deck than it is ARWS deck, which for me is nicer. These are by Marcella Kroll. This is the indie, this is the mass market version. All right, next prompt is the Timekeeper's Hourglass, a deck that helps you measure change cycles, endings, and beginnings, your companion for the year-end reflection. And for that deck, I picked the Runic Tarot, and I absolutely love this deck. It's one of my favorite mass market decks ever. I use it every single year, and sometimes I'll pair it with the Magic of You Oracle by Fiona Horn, and even though this is not a Norse deck, I do enjoy these together, and I enjoy the messages together. I absolutely love this, and this does feel like this time of year, but it's a seasonal deck, and it's just absolutely stunning. Has runes in it, which I love, and I just think it is an incredible deck. And I don't know what it was. From the moment I got the Runic Tarot, I just fell in love with it. And I really love the Magic of You Oracle too. But this deck is just special to me. And it's got the runes hidden, and so you don't always see them because they're very subtle. They might be in a fire, or they might be up here in a buffalo, or they might be hidden. You just don't know where they're going to be, but they're always there. And they hide, and you can find them. Sometimes it's obvious, but sometimes it's hard to find them unless you really look. And the guidebook is helpful. It doesn't talk a lot about the runes. So you kind of have to just do, it's pretty good, but you have to do a little bit of your own research. But this is just one of those decks that I just go back to again and again and again and just absolutely love. And sometimes I'll pair it with like a runic deck. Like this is the Shield Maiden Oracle deck, and you might pair it with that. And this one, you have to go to the guidebook if you don't know runes, but they work together too. And sometimes I'll do that. But I do really like these together. And I do just tend to use this every single year, even though it's seasonal. Sometimes I do tend to use it when the seasons change, but I use it kind of as soon as we get kind of the late fall, early winter, then I just use it all the time. And it's just fun for me, and I do really enjoy it. I just realized you probably can't see this runic deck. Anyway, I also could pair it with the Fateful Signs Oracle deck, which is a Nordic deck. This is the Shield Maiden Runic Oracle. So I'll get rid of this. Oops, I forgot these. The fateful signs, it doesn't look so good with, but they read really good together. That's the back of that one. I can't remember who this is by. It just says Fateful Signs. I think this was a Kickstarter. Oh, there's the creators. And so then here's the guidebook. So it just has a little bit about each card. So this one is good if you want a Nordic deck to go with it. This deck is a little bit harsh, and I would only use this time of year when we're going into winter, because it is it's got more of a wintry vibe. It's very Nordic and kind of dark. It's got Yule spirits there. But it does read really well, and it makes sense with this deck. There's so many ways to use this deck. It's just kind of unusual. I'll show you a few of these. Anyway, these are fun together, and I do like them. Oh, I have another deck out here. The Oracle de Runes. I'm just going to show you this, even though it's kind of... It does... Sometimes I pair this one. I'll just show you. With the Runic Tarot. It's good. This one's in French. But it's a great rune deck that goes pretty well with this. So if you want a rune deck to use, this is just a mass market deck. And I think, you could use the translator if you don't know French, but the names are the names. So anyway, this is also an option. And it's pretty cool. And it's Nordic. So there's a honking guidebook too. Look how much is on each card. It's a lot. This is a good guidebook. That's the back of that one. All right, next prompt is the Oracle Beneath the Ice, which I meant, when I say oracle, I mean something that predicts. The Oracle Beneath the Ice, a deck that reads softly, subtly, intuitively, like messages drifting up through the frozen water. I wrote this prompt for this deck. It's the Under the Oak Tarot. And I've talked about this a ton. I did my Advent project last year with this deck. And it is a deck that it's a mass market deck. It's available. That I love. I love this one. I think this one's a really good one. And I still enjoy it. I got it, I think, at the beginning of 2024. And I just fell in love with it. And I'm going to pair it with the Enchanted Earth Oracle by Jessica LaHood, illustrated by Amanda Clark. I have not tried these together, so we'll see. It may not work. I just got this deck, so I saw it on Lisa Pepez was doing a live, like where she was playing with different decks, and I saw it. I had never seen it before, and I just fell in love with it. I just thought it was the most beautiful deck. And I just thought, it might look good with my Under the Oak Tarot. And I loved the way that it read and how gentle it was. And I just thought, it's beautiful. And I do like them together. So I do think this is cool. So I want to do the Tarot Advent again this year. I don't know. Kelly Bear probably isn't going to do it because she's not on YouTube at the moment. She's taking a little break. So I guess we could just all do it. I might just do it because I had so much fun doing it last year. It really helped me get to know this deck so much better because you use every card in the deck and you do readings, three or more cards at a time. So you aren't just picking one card and looking at it, you're doing a reading. And then when you've used the card, you take it out of the deck. It was a great way to really do a kind of a deeper dive into a deck. And so I really loved using this. And this is a really interesting deck. It follows a little girl on an adventure. She's blind. And it deals with dreams and the art of turning your dreams into reality. And her name is Anima, and she's a child. She's a visually impaired child. And it's through a magical fairy tale island blooming with like all this beautiful vegetation. And there's like a magic oak tree in it, inhabited by all these mythical creatures and gods. And it's a way for you to look at things through a different sight. And we, one example is the swords has people in ice. And so you have to dig them out and dig things out. It's like Celtic, Norse, Greek, Basque, all kinds of different cultures coming into play here. And it just is an unusual deck. And I love it enough that I've gone back to it again and again, which, I don't often do that because I have so many decks, but I really love this one. And it really is about magic that's lying dormant. And how do we bring that out again? How do we bring that out into the world when it's already gone dormant? Anyway, like I've talked about this deck a lot, but it is very special. And if you don't have it, this is one of the mass market gems, I think. I don't often buy mass market decks because I kind of think the mass market decks, I can never get my money out of them. Once I buy them, it's kind of like a sunk cost. And it's just like you can't really sell them, or you just can't ever get your money back. But this one, I would say, is worth the money. And I don't say that about a lot of mass market decks, but this one for me is, I would buy it again and again, over and over. If something happened to it, I lost it, I'd just go buy another one. I wouldn't even hesitate. So, wonderful deck, Under the Oak. It is by, it says Ofried and Strega de Melee. I don't know. It's a low Scarabeo deck. There's the inside. Yeah, came out January 2024. That's when I got it. Anyway, I also think the art in this deck is just gorgeous. And the art in this oracle, oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. I'm really loving this. And I really like it with Under the Oak. It's a fun pairing. I'll have to try these two together. Oh, and I just want to say, I love the cardstock on this deck. The cardstock is wonderful. And it's different. You can tell it has this, shuffles really good. It's got, shuffles really well. It's got this lovely silver gilding on it, and it doesn't hurt your hands. But I love the cardstock. I just love everything about this deck. All right, last prompt is the key that you didn't realize you were carrying. A deck that will guide you into the new year. The one that feels like a threshold, an opening, like a key turning in a lock. And for this prompt, I picked my Heindel Tarot. And the reason I haven't used this in a couple of years, it's one of those decks that I go back and forth using every once in a while, but it's never a deck that I think I'm not going to use. I have all the books for it, and it's just a good one. And it has runes in it. It has the I Ching in it. It has all kinds of esoteric symbols in it, and it just is a good deck. And I am going to try pairing it with a new oracle. called Oracle of the Future. I haven't tried these together, so I'm not sure if they'll work. And the Oracle of the Future is sideways, so we'll just have to see if it works or not. But I think it might. Maybe I'll just, I don't know. I think I have too many cards there. Anyway, I thought these might be cool together because this is just like looking for the future, and this is a lot about the past. And so I've got some of these upside down, I guess. Anyway, I thought these might look nice together and work well together. And I think they will. And I do love Celia Conway's decks. I think they're beautiful. And they're really different than anything else. So I thought I'd try these together and see how they worked. And I think they'll be good, but you know, I can't really tell until I play with them together, which I have not done yet. So I'm going to be using the Heindel for December, and I'm going to try it with the Oracle of the Future by Celia Conway. And I just thought, this is what I'm into moving forward into the year. This feels like a nice way to kind of walk into the next year. Something old and something new. And this deck has a lot of keys in it. I feel like it's another one of those like spirit keepers that you could just kind of do so many dives and go in so deeply. And it's just kind of a cool deck. And like there's the I Ching there. It's got a lot in it. It's got a lot of layers and things that are not always apparent right at the beginning. So this is the Heindel Tarot with Oracle of the Future. We'll see how it works. Thanks for watching and see ya.